So, good morning, everyone. It's funny how Guilherme used the word consultant, like prepare yourselves, the consultant is coming. Actually, I have this problem. I'm not actually a consultant, but it's difficult to explain what is an advisor. So when I come to write those forms or what is your profession, normally I flip a coin and should I be auditor, should I be consultant? It's easier. But basically what I do is to be an advisor, and what I do is to advise. Basically, I work with companies, I work with enterprises, with the boards and executives to help them to take decisions, to help them to take decisions specifically related to how information and technology is affecting their business. So when I talk about these subjects specifically of artificial intelligence or data science, I'm mostly concerned to explain the why. That's what people in the boards are concerned. Why is this important? They actually don't need to know what is about, wow, how should I do this? But they need to understand the why. This is why I prepared this presentation a little bit, to putting together this notion of you are the ones that will do the things, but before, the ones that are in charge of companies need to ask for it. And this is here for many, many years. I just love this sentence. The information revolution is sweeping through our economy. No company can escape. It's a fact. Who knows when this sentence was said? 1985. So it's all about information for so many years. But I work with business IT alignments. And when I tell the word IT, people listen 99% the T and 1% of the I. So don't misinterpret me, but companies actually just care about the T. And this is so challenging for you to explain that, yes, it was the time that technology was a competitive advantage. But nowadays, what is really a competitive advantage is how you take care of information. So let me show you a movie, a very recent movie, but actually shows how dangerous is people to look to scenarios, real-time scenarios, and just value technology or no technology.
Playing jazz.
Playing jazz.
Smoothie.
Making smoothie.
Calendar.
No meetings today. Remember, dentist at 9:30.
Fire off.
Fire off.
Open door.
Door open.
And we're gonna do one more.
Oh yeah. Open door.
Wrong voice command.
Open door.
Wrong voice command.
Open. Open door.
Repeat that.
Open door.
I didn't understand that.
Hey! Open door!
Play on the floor.
Get over the floor! Open the door!
Wrong
Open the
voice
door!
command. Error.
Hey, William. With a rat? Huh? Open door. Open door. Higher.
Higher volume.
Higher.
Higher.
So, this is why it's so dangerous, people talking about technology when they don't understand it. This is putting, like, if you have technology, it's not simple. But if you don't have technology, your life will be wonderful because you only have a key. And this is what happens. People are afraid of technology. And when we laughed with this, probably you say, oh, this is just bullshit, just technology. But that's all about information. It's not about technology. And it's no turning back. It's how can I use that scenario, that world, with more risk, with more controls, with more scenario B. It's not about coming back to the keys. And this is what's challenging. Nowadays, IDC every year select like 10, 12, what do we call drivers. What is changing in the world? What companies are preparing for? What motivates them? And basically, of course, this huge word, digital transformation. But we talk very little about technology. Digital transformation is mostly about information. Actually, it's not about information. It's about what we call the sense, the compute, and the actuate. It's almost that today, it's no longer about data anymore. It's about connecting the physical and the digital world. And you cannot do it without data. And that's the thing, the driver that comes companies like crazy. It's not how much data do I have. It's my data bigger than yours. It's how am I connecting to the world? How am I sensing the world around me and changing it? So when we come to this point and pick up the numbers that I found more interesting to you, IDC just estimate that in 2025 we'll have 163 zettabytes of information, and it's huge information. And this is like a religion, this is a mix of faith and science. I don't know if today you believe that artificial intelligence and all these subjects are real or not. But if you want to go to digital transformation, you have to believe in exponential growth of data. And you have to believe things completely crazy. I have a paper here. I don't know if someone already explained what is exponential growth. And if you pick up like a page of a Bible and turn it in similar pieces 45 times, you will get to the moon. And people say, but how comes that? It's science, it's math, it's physics. You just don't care why, but it's true. Actually, if you turn these five, normally I turn 5 or 6, you can open a beer bottle. You don't have to know how, you can ask me after, but you have to believe it. And if you believe it, you just make a very simple number. That is, today, we actually have around 13 billion devices. How many devices have my company? If the world will have 80 billion devices, how many devices will have my company? Otherwise, I cannot believe digital transformation if I don't want to go in this roller coaster. And the numbers are huge. So let me show you another numbers. Data ethnographers. Data will bring these two types of people together, geeks and normal people. Actually, the data scientists that actually put maths, explain the world with mathematics. And nowadays, they are bringing these guys together. That are the people that explain people. And the numbers are increasing. 25% of companies will have data ethnographers. They will ask people, after the numbers come, why this is important in my company culture, why this is important in my country, why the people around me care about this. So it's about telling stories to the people. And this is why the data scientists are bringing people that actually can put stories in map. And how great is that? And the numbers are growing. The next one is related with the criticality of information. We come from the first platform, the mainframes, the second platform, the open up distributed with internet. But we came to the third platform or digital, where the cloud is so important. So nowadays, the numbers tell us that in 2025, the average or the number of critical or high critical information is around 20 to 10%. And this is huge because what criticality tells us is this is no longer about back office. This is no longer of I will connect myself to something. It's about I'm always connected. And once I'm always connected, if I disconnect myself, this is critical. This will be critical for companies, but this will be critical for sectors like healthcare, like airplanes. So the average number of critical information is growing very fast. The next number, the explosion of embedded devices in IoT. And this is, again, from an enterprise level, is very funny. Because nowadays, if you go to a Disney park, for example, the guys will give you a band, and that band will allow you, as a client, to explore new experiences. So we'll bring the guy from the marketing and sales to sell more to that guy. But we'll bring also the guy that manages the park. So we'll put together that people that concerns with the digital part of the company, the experimental part of the company, but also the physical part, the management of the company itself. And this is amazing because in the past I lived with it all my life. It was only about business versus IT. And nowadays, when we bring IoT with SCADA models and all that, there's no longer this is yours, this is mine. So this will impact a lot, in a way. People interact with each other, and the number of devices is huge. Imagine, 18 seconds will be an interaction in 2025. Each 18 seconds. The number today, per day, 4,800. Today it's 400. So this is amazing how much information we'll have, but how much devices we will have around us. When I discuss these subjects with people that just love artificial intelligence and big data and all that, they are so passionate about information. They forget who is the mother and father of information. They forget where the information needs to come. And they forget how much information they need to produce. So this is the putting together. Who will generate the information? Because if information is not generated, you can have the best algorithms, but you will not be able to use it. So the mobility, of course, is one of the top, our third platform, mobility just exploded, but we'll bring what we call the fourth platform. We already thinking about it, we are not yet putting the name on it, but the fourth platform will be motivated because of the need of the real-time processing. I cannot put an automated vehicle connecting with the cloud or only connected with the cloud. I have to have computing at the edge. Each car, one data center, real-time computing. And that will change all the way people are nowadays seeing it. So in 2025, this all information in the cloud will be back at the edge. And this will be exciting for vendors that will sell again edge things to their companies, but basically will allow companies to see not only what can I do in the big cloud, but where there's a product, where there's a service, there's a data center, there's a computing system. There are decisions that are being taken right there. So I always like this message. Everyone knows who band is this? Anyone guess what's the next part of Don't Push Me? Because I'm near the edge. Okay? So this will happen to companies. It's not because I want to be at the edge, it's because I will need to have real-time data. So this is changing so fast. And when it comes to cognitive artificial intelligence systems, for companies, for me, what is more concerning is not about companies having or having not artificial intelligence. But when I talk with the board of directors, I just will explain one thing to them. And the word is accountability. What is more important is that it's not because artificial intelligence exists in companies that people will start to be accountable. So the thing of, it's not my fault, it's from the IT guy fault, it's not my fault, it was the bot, I just excuse, it was the machine, will not work. People will not be anymore talking with data to justify or explain what they already know. This was what was mainly big, not BI, but basically the people already think about some clues and then will go to the information to support their clues. Nowadays, it just tell me what to do, I will authorize you to do it, I will be your guardian. And this will change a lot the governance models of the company. Because there's no opportunity for, it's not my responsibility. I accept it's not my fault, but that is so much Homer Simpson. It's like Homer Simpson say, it's not my, if the fault is mine, I can give it away. But it's not about that. It's about being responsible for one name, one brand, one company to the outside. It's not about the director one or the director two. It's about the company in a context. And that context is extremely dangerous. The fear, the uncertainty, the doubt just increased all the subjects of cybersecurity. How vulnerable are we when we lost the perimeter to protect ourselves? How can we do these things that no longer protect databases and systems and protect data? How can I imagine, okay, but I'm protecting the database and I imagine that information is inside there, so I'm also protecting data? But the data have different risk levels, need different approaches, and this is changing the way companies see cyber. It's no longer in 2025 about cybersecurity. It's about cyber trust, digital trust. We'll no longer, how can I have my castle protected? How can my partners trust me? How can my customers trust me? And doing trust management is about risk. It's about filling that gap. 90% of data will have security requirements, but only 50% of data will be secure. Who's responsible for the 40%? Who will accept that risk? Who will believe that is not about, will I be attacked? It's about when I will be attacked, I will do this. I will react like this. Because I've done everything that I can to do mitigation of some risks, but I had to accept part of the risks. So there will never be 90% of data that requires security, 9% of data that is security. But you need to manage the 40% with acceptance. And that's so difficult for us to accept risk. To say, yes, I know that 99% of probability will happen, but there's 1% of chance of not. And this is basically what is risk management. So this is what is asked for people to do. And mostly I work with incumbent companies. And I work with companies that sometimes are just looking around, keep calm, this is just a trend, this will pass. It's like people digging the gold, but let's see it. And it's amazing, I don't know if you saw that movie. It's like a Western movie when the guy is sitting in a building and he's telling a joke that is a guy just jumped for a 3rd floor, and when he passed the 2nd floor, the people inside the building just listening to him say, so far so good. And when he passed the 1st floor, the people heard, so far so good. And incumbent companies, because of these numbers, are saying, so far so good. Because the new companies have only 70% of the revenue, but actually they already have 50% of the digital revenue. And if we believe, again, in 2025, there will be a digital world, these guys are in a huge advantage of the others. So don't take this position of, let's see, there's no time for let's see. You are just falling right now already, but you don't know. So this is the biggest numbers. These are the numbers related with digital transformation, like artificial intelligence, cognitive systems, IoT, and all that. But when we use the word digital transformation, it's not about questioning what happens next with data scientists, what happens next with artificial intelligence. Is what the hell is this word transformation? Because if you are just using new things, new trendy things, new algorithms, new things that people just love, there's no mandatory that you are actually transforming anything. So one thing is have you in companies to have the best people to do the job, but you have to have someone that actually wants to change, that actually wants to transform from moving to this side of how data is taking off to that side. And this is what's challenging, because you need to believe this if you want to move forward to the what and to the how. I'm just finishing, and I just presented kind of a solution. This is not a solution of an algorithm. This is what we call a digital platform. If you want to show to your company, if you want to show to your colleagues that this matters, that information matters, you first need to start to explain why. And it's not why artificial intelligence matters. It's an holistic view of where artificial intelligence is. So, and it is at the center of a relationship between internal processes and external processes that are collecting information at the edge with all those devices. And if people want to have access to that intelligence, they actually need integration services, APIs, and things like that. And you are just collecting a group of people to develop in your platform. So the solution is to think in a platform way. Is to think that every company needs to have a dev.yournamecompany.com, because you have to have people on board. You have to connect yourself with the ecosystem. It's no longer about how you are prepared for. It's how you are in a value chain, an extended value chain that have people behind you, people in front of you. And this is just what you need to put your logo over there and explain to your colleagues. This is no longer a layer level of architecture. This is about motion. This is about everything is moving here. And what is everything? Data and information. So, at the end of the day, we have lots of research about this digital platform. And for you guys, and for what's important in the middle, in the intelligence core, we just structure it, not in a layer levels perspective, but basically what are the main functions that you need to show that if we have one core, then you just need to have one layer, one level of analysis, and one level of governance and management. with lots of functions that people can use. So there's a lot of information about this. So just to finish, always put the things in context. Make sure that people understand you before you move to the numbers and the formulas and all that. And it's easy. So if you want to explain why these subjects that we are discussing here for 2 days are important for digital transformation, because they are there. They are transforming information. And because we are transforming information and the way we see information, we are transforming our leadership, we are transforming the omni experience with our context, we are transforming the work source, we are transforming the operating model, and we are improving the maturity of our digital transformation. So thank you very much to all of you. What I need to finish to say is, it's no longer only about the 3 V's that you all actually know, it's about the 3 A's: awareness, augmentation, and automation. And first, it's not about doing a big data strategy. It's to do a company strategy that will need to live in a data-driven world. Thank you very much.